Hello, I'm Henry John Griffin, and today I'm going to be talking about how I usually talk to Angie and how Angie says that the human brain is similar to a computer. Now, Angie, I remembered when Angie asked me to do this. So Angie asked me to think of a part of the to think of the part of a computer that processes information, and she also asked me to think of the part of the brain that processes information. So Angie told me to think of the part of the computer that processes information, and she told me to think of a part of the human body that processes information. And my answer was the brain. The brain of the human body is the brain. The brain of the computer is the CPU. So, I am guessing that the brain and the computer are similar because of their functions and because of how they compare and because of how they work. We can now compare the brain to a computer because it is okay. And I'm not going to be getting mad about other people telling me that it isn't, because from the time I was saying that both involve inputs and memory, and they both process information. Which I'm doing right now. I'm processing information, and that's what the brain is doing. It is literally computing as we speak. So, if I was at the Kessler Center right now, I would speak to Alex and tell Alex about what the brain is if it computes. And there has to be a name for that function. It's either a computer or a calculator, or just a calculator. However, the brain is being seen to have many different similarities. Now, I'm not using this to ask setup questions. However, it is a setup question to ask. If I ask people, is my brain a computer? That's a setup question. I will be told, every time I go to school, I'll be told 24/7 to make that into a statement by Miss Stephanie. Stephanie will tell me to make that into a statement, or she'll ask me. She'll say, can you please make that into a statement and stop asking setup questions? That's what she'll be like. I will listen. I'll make it into a statement. I'll be like, okay, I'll make it into a statement. I'll listen. So, the good thing about the Kessler Center is that Stephanie never yells at me. And she doesn't spank. But I was kind of thinking about my car ride for this afternoon. I was thinking about the car ride, how I want to go for a ride. I don't want other people telling me that the brain isn't a computer, because I know I can compare it. I can compare a brain and a computer. I can do that. Comparing, to compare brains and computers is to basically say that they're similar and mean it that they're like a computer. Because of what it does. It processes information, and they store information. So guys, I'm done with that topic for a little bit until my dad comes upstairs. I'll try not to get upset though, but I need people to stop telling me that my brain is not a computer, and to stop taking my phone away. Stop trying to make Henry upset and keep Henry happy in the green zone. Because when people talk about the brain being a computer, see, the truth is not always positive. There's basically a negative to when you tell the truth. the truth is not always positive. That will be my next movie. Only on the HG3 movie TV channel. So guys, I'm hoping people can actually, I'm hoping people can start saying the brain is a computer, be more like metaphorical about it. Say the brain is the computer of the body, and the CPU is the brain of the computer. So, like, I'm serious about how that comparison seems to work. The brain is like the computer of the body, and the CPU is like the brain of the computer. And probably those comparisons seem to be good depending on how you compare it. If you compare it to where you're not making any sense, then people won't understand what I'm talking about. That is how qualifying comes in. That is where qualifying comes into play. As you can see, you have to qualify what you mean, because it might be hard to compare a brain and a computer. It might be hard to compare a brain and a computer. You can define the definition. You can qualify your definition. You could go make a video of yourself qualifying that definition, and then that definition will be written down, so that definition will have to be qualified. So basically, guys, I'm right now on here telling you guys that brains are like computers in the way that they function, and that's what the title of this movie is. We can process information, and we do. We know that. We process information. We use our brains to compute. Our brains do compute, and our brains do massive calculations. Maybe our brain does calculations, but that qualifies as a calculator. But our brain computes, and that qualifies as a computer.